One of the great things about the Phrasor is that we can store our own MIDI patterns and build up a library that we can reuse. Now, I've got a muted nylon guitar in here, and I've programmed up a part in my DAW that I like. Right now, I've got nothing happening in the Phrasor, and I'm just going to play it for you and just show it to you. I'm using Logic Pro X, but of course, you can do this in any DAW. So here's the part, and you can see the notes here. All right, so I've designed it to fit my chord pattern, and that's what suits me in this particular case. But of course, you can make shorter phrases that you can use to build a library up, maybe 1 or 2 bars of picking or patterns in a major key, one in a minor key and dominant key, whatever. But in this case, I'm using this as an example, but it doesn't have to be 4 bars and it doesn't have to be pertaining to a specific chord progression. So we can export it as a MIDI file, and following certain conventions, it'll then be available in the Phrasor. Now, the first thing we need to do is ensure that we're going to be using MIDI file format 0. So again, all DAWs do this a little bit differently, but here in Logic in the preferences in general, we enable this checkbox to ensure that the format is going to be MIDI format 0 when we export it. Now, the other thing is, if you want your pattern quantized, when you quantize in your DAW, you need to make sure those parameters are applied permanently. And here in Logic, we do it under this menu here, apply quantization permanently. Again, most DAWs have similar types of functions. So now I'm going to export it as a MIDI file. So here are the conventions that we need to follow. The location. Now I'm going to my library that hosts my Sample Tank 4 instruments. And in here, there's a folder that's been created by the Sample Tank 4 installers called Patterns. And here we see all the patterns that are appearing in the Phrasor menu. Now I want to create my own folder for my own. You can, of course, put your custom phrases that you're designing anywhere you want in here. But for me, I'm going to create my own. I'm just going to name it. And we see the new folder there. So I'm going to save it into there. Now here's the important part, the naming conventions. First, name your file. And then space. This is what's important. And then the tempo, I'm going to write 98, then another space, and then the BPM, and then underscore, and then number of bars. I'm going to write 4 bars. And that's it. I'm going to hit return, and it's saved. So now, let me just position this a bit later. I'll bring Sample Tank 4 back. Now, when we open this up, we're not going to see it immediately. We need to rescan the library, so press the rescan button. And now in here, there's my EK phrases folder that I created, and there's the pattern. I'll drag it to C2, and we can trigger it. And of course, now we have the options to play it at double speed, half speed, humanize it, change the velocities, add swing factor, transpose it. Again, important if you're building up your own library of phrases. So let's trigger this and see what it sounds like. So it's working as expected. So that's how you can add your own user phrases to Phrasor. See you for more in the next video.